Time for the annual quiz. Who was the father of Eleazar? Don't you? Boaz. Maybe. Eventually. Someone. Yes. The early Christians hearing these names would have been familiar with almost all of them. We, I suspect, are familiar with just a few. We know who Abraham is. We know who Jacob is. We know who David is. Maybe we know that his father was Jesse. And we know that David, in turn, is the father of Solomon. Then we get lost for a little while, and then we finally come to Joseph, right? And we're back on the track. This gospel passage is here to remind us of a few things. First of all, that God had from all time a plan for salvation, and that it involved us from generation to generation. Yes, we waited a long time for the coming of the Messiah, maybe longer than we mere human beings might have thought, maybe more than we might have hoped, maybe more than we would have wanted to. But that was the moment in earthly time where God willed. This was the moment for Christ to appear in the flesh. And so generation after generation, all of these people played their part. And let me assure you, there are a few folks on this list who did not live particularly saintly lives. They weren't even close to saintly lives. But even in their misuse of human freedom, they were able to play a part in God's plan. We now wait again for the second coming. And maybe it's taking longer than we thought. Maybe it's taking longer than we hoped or than we wanted. But it's all part of God's divine plan. And each of us, just like all of these names we just heard, each of us have our part to play in God's divine plan. We may not at any point during our earthly lives come to realize what that part has been. But when we stand before the awesome judgment seat, all of these things get revealed. And all of us have this part to play until the second coming of Christ. We talk again and again about hopeful anticipation. And we're in this time on the church calendar, too, of hopeful anticipation, especially maybe our littlest ones. They know what's going to come later this week. And so they're very anxious. Has their list been received? What will appear under the Christmas tree? When will we find out? Will we find out on Christmas Eve, or do we have to go tuck to bed and find out on Christmas Day? I hope for all of our sakes, each and every one of us can find something of that childlike joy that childlike hope, that childlike anticipation for this feast. Because again, as much as our littlest ones are anxious for their gifts, we can have that hopeful anticipation as we celebrate again the greatest gift that humans have ever received, the incarnation of Christ in this world. We take this time to remind ourselves about all of these things. We take this time apart, and I know the parking lots are a mess. You have to park half a mile from the store. Before this week, there was ice, and we've got to, maybe even fight our way through all of the crowds, and then the lines at the cash registers, and then we have to go from Kohl's to Target to Myers to Kroger's and to the 1,001 places we have to go to get the cards and the gifts and the turkey or the ham or whatever, and the tablecloths and the napkins and the special this and the that, I need this special ingredient because I'm going to make something that I only make at Christmas time. And we run around almost like chickens without heads. And Christmas Day comes and we collapse. The meal's done and we go to sleep. Hopefully after all the dishes are washed. But if that's all the feast is for us, the lines and the craziness and the hurry and the bother, we're missing it. We're missing it. All of those things are wonderful. There's not a bad thing on that list. We should have a joyful feast. We should have gifts. We should celebrate with a special meal. We should do all of those things. But we need to remember that what we're doing that all for, to recognize this truly awesome gift that God has given us in the incarnation of his Son. To Jesus Christ be glory, both now and ever, ages and ages. Amen.